Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. I'm Billy, the host. Welcome back to the show. 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 I'm Billy, the host.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Billy, the host. I'm joined today by producer Trent Ludzack.
Hello.
We're in the beautiful Trent's Unnamed studio in Marietta, Georgia, and we're joined today by our special guest, the one and only infamous Jake Walski.
Yo.
What's up, Jake?
Just chilling, just working on my legs at the gym, working on those teardrops above my knees.
Okay.
If you can't see them, it's just because it's hiding under some skin, but it's getting there. And then I had to get some protein to satisfy the thighs, and had to stop by Zaxby's, which is a big L. But actually not that bad this time. The one down the street from here ain't bad.
Zaxby's, that's how you get your protein?
Maybe 1% of the time, yeah.
Okay. How else are you getting it?
Meat.
Meat? Are you cooking the meat?
It's usually provided to me in some way. I've been having a lot of venison.
Okay, venison.
It's more on the natural side. Felt like that's what we had to resort to before enslaving chickens and cows.
So somebody else is cooking for you, is what you're saying?
Yes, it's usually by a friend or some person who I don't know at a restaurant.
Okay. Restaurants.
But
so what's you say you had something you wanted to speak on today?
restaurants, doomsday prepping, restaurants, the vaccine. Let's talk about it all.
Okay, let's start with restaurants. What about restaurants? You don't like them, or you do like them?
I love them. It makes me feel like a king.
But they're kind of expensive.
I mean, dude, over the past couple weeks, when I would be desperate for fast food, it almost costed more than getting a Jimmy John's, which really says a lot because I used to work there, and I can tell you right now, they have barely raised the prices of their sandwiches or anything.
Jimmy John's?
Yeah.
Okay,
I've
but
noticed
that guy got in trouble for poaching animals in Africa.
Well, maybe it's working. Maybe it's keeping things cheap.
Oh.
You don't want to risk getting some exotic meat with your stuff?
I mean, I'll try elephant or something like that, but I don't want people to be poaching them and stuff.
I would not doubt if I've ever had elephant through a Jimmy John's sandwich.
That
It could be possible.
I would doubt that,
honestly.
if it were me. Okay, so restaurants are good. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Fast food, not good. Not just because of the food, but those prices, man, they're getting a little too much for me.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
went to Taco Bell the other day. It was $20 for 2 people, and all I got was 2 bean burritos for myself. So and some chips.
it's really getting to that point where it seems almost pointless. Like I would rather just starve. I don't care if I'm 14 hours away from home or anything.
Well, I think the problem with fast food is they just don't pay the people who work there enough. Simple
They
as
don't.
that.
I agree.
I don't think you should have to tip in America either. They should get rid of tipping.
They should get rid of tipping. And,
It's completely pointless. Why do you make the customer pay for the food and pay for the employee when you're the one who hires the employee?
right. No, I agree. Honestly, it's more about the time that you're having people spend on this task. Yes, they should be, working to their fullest and not sitting around and fucking off. But I feel like
Me?
what's going on?
Billy's just noticeably looking over at my screen over and over again.
I can't see my. Oh, okay, here I am.
Okay. My
okay.
bad. I'm
Do
sorry.
you guys want to see yourselves? I bought a whole different screen just so that people wouldn't have to look at themselves.
No,
but
it's
I can
fine.
put it up there if you want.
It's fine.
Nah, might create some
I don't-
intense self-awareness.
I don't need to see it.
Yeah, just talk to each other. Come on.
But if I know it's there, I'm going to look at it.
Well, it's not there. Don't look at it.
I look better than the screen. I mean, you can't justify this on the screen at all.
Do I need
in
to
any
put
way.
a guard on my screen?
Okay. Yeah, maybe. That'd be like a voting booth.
I can't get something that ineffective.
I was trying to think of something about the voting being rigged, but
All right.
Oh, go off, King.
We'll get sued by the voting booth company. I think that's how that works.
Or people in white robes will show up at your house and kidnap you in the middle of the night.
Yeah. And then Tucker Carlson won't be allowed on Fox News anymore.
I think him on Twitter's a good move.
What did
I'm gonna say it.
well, yeah, but they were saying
interesting.
like he got kicked off because he was saying something about the January 6th and the election. And
Oh, who cares? Just a ton of lazy ass hot topics.
all right, in your opinion, who won the 2020 election?
I don't know.
Was it 2020?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the real question is who won every election?
Can't remember.
Who
Yeah.
won every election?
Yeah, we all lost. The
Do we really know?
the shadow government, elite pedophiles. That's who won every election of the past 100 years.
It almost seems like that nowadays. Yeah.
Well, there is a shadow government, right? Because they're covering up like certain things. They covered up Epstein. They covered up UFOs. So there is a shadow government. Like that seems to be.
Shadow government, is that what you call it?
Yeah.
That's a new one.
The shadow.
That's new.
But that's
I like
not
that.
new.
I haven't heard it.
Trent, you've heard of the shadow government, right?
I'm new to Twitter,
Yeah,
so I don't know
I was
enough.
part of it for a few years in college.
What did you do? Were you like, you had to cover up like UFO sightings?
No, I lied.
You know, Sham Wilkins has seen a UFO.
Yeah, he was in the Navy.
Yeah,
Of course he has. Everybody in the Navy got to see a UFO.
he's a comedian.
I've seen UFOs
Where?
in my backyard.
When?
The frisbee I threw for my dogs the other day.
A flying
Gotcha.
dish, flying saucers.
That's very much identified, sir.
Your lawn that was beautifully landscaped while you slept like a baby.
Hey, that's one of the reasons why I'm late, because I had to take my dogs out after the gym, but instead, a ton of landscapers were taking over our backyard that probably didn't need any work, but
I thought you went to Zaxby's.
I did go to Zaxby's on the way here.
Oh, but that was after you took your dogs out?
Yeah, it was after my charade at home. Yeah. You know, I
Couldn't
I
take the
get to
dogs
event.
out because the landscapers were out there?
Yes.
Why? Will they bite the landscapers or something?
No, it's just all of the machinery. There's a lot going on at one time. They have the gates open. It's just common protocol to leave
Yeah.
them inside during even
They're
if they were-
dogs, though. They can do.
Well, my dogs are wolves, and wolves can do whatever they want.
Yeah, they can
They
do
don't need-
whatever the heck they want. They don't.
They don't need validation from anyone. They just do what they want to do because they're wolves.
But
not sheep.
I think as long as they'll come back when you call them, they can run around outside with the landscapers out there, right?
I mean, even just the fact that they're running a giant ass lawnmower in the yard probably just is not a safe call.
I know a
In any
guy
way.
who got 2 fingers chopped off by a lawnmower.
Yeah, you hear stories like that all the time. I mean, lawnmowers are dangerous. We should ban them.
Was that the smartest or dumbest person you knew?
He was making a movie, and
Dumbest.
so dumb, yeah. I would have taken the blades off maybe before filming that scene. But
Wait, it was really like that?
it was a horror movie, and somehow he got his hand caught in the lawnmower. I don't know all the details.
Man, somebody's not a director anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep
Damn.
interrupting.
Just getting wrecked.
Okay. So you've been speaking the truth lately, huh?
Exposing.
Exposing the truth.
What are those little things called? The squiggly line things that I will put exposed in between, or all the videos or the shorts on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
This person exposed this emoji, but it's like them saying something completely ludicrous,
So
crazy.
What is it that we're exposing?
Well, what am I exposing, Billy? What am I exposing?
Yeah, what's the message?
I think the main one for right now is really just, doctors, the healthcare industry, and everything above. Damn, this beer is really getting to me. There's.
You should have got a Bud Light.
I should have. I support the community, and I
community.
did not support it today. I just chose not to. I just didn't feel like it. Got things to do, But the thing with the doctor stuff is, I mean, it goes it goes into a personal story that I don't mind telling of where it all started and whatnot. If you really want to get radical about it, I mean, I feel like deep inside I've been, I don't know about manipulated, whatever word you want to use. I feel like it's been intrusive in my life ever since a very young age. Like at the age of 2, they tried to diagnose me with autism and all these crazy things. I wasn't given any medications. Obviously, I was probably way too young for that. But this isn't something I necessarily learned until later on in my teen years. And I feel like it was definitely something that got to my head a little bit when I learned about all this, because I think the problem was I couldn't speak until a certain age. I was way later on the learning curve of things, I guess.
What age?
5.
Okay.
Which isn't necessarily, I wouldn't call it that late, but it was concerning enough, I suppose.
You didn't speak until you were 5?
Yeah, I would just speak mumbo jumbo. Like,
okay, just like nonsense.
nonsense.
Talk.
Yeah. I've always been full of nonsense.
Okay.
Can't tell. But, you know, there's been so much manipulation in my life, and I think I'm a good example of somebody who has been brainwashed into a certain narrative of things in many ways, and just now kind of coming out of that shell. And there's definitely no easy way to do that. I don't think there's really a way to do it without showing anger and showing that I'm passionate about it. I mean, everything I say online, it's all nonsense. It's garbage. I don't really care about social media. It's me knowing that everyone is seeing this, and I wanted to consolidate my environment a little bit before, taking off like a storm, because I'm definitely pissed off about stuff. And I think there's a lot of things that a lot of people people are uncomfortable talking about. And as a gay man, I think that, I feel like there isn't enough masculine representation in the gay community as a whole, to where, I'm not calling myself masculine, don't get me wrong here. I just think there needs to be a better balance of,
the chain is pretty masculine.
We need to.
The rings are pretty masculine.
Oh, thank you. The rings, yeah. I didn't get to clean in before I came here. I apologize for that. There's a little bit of, a little bit of mark on there. I'm sorry, but I think my entire point with being said, as a gay man, I feel like I have. Our friend Ben said it the other day. I feel like I have been getting some sort of a woman treatment most of my life, to where I feel like a lot of things I say aren't taken seriously. And I think maybe a part of that too is just the fact that I like to troll people a lot. So I think I was kind of born to piss people off, and it definitely puts you in this position to where if you ever want to be serious about anything or discuss anything that's actually important, it kind of goes in and out for people. I'm not necessarily self-victimizing myself, but I do believe that people can be targets in non-passive ways, maybe, or passive ways. Sorry, excuse me. In passive ways, in some weird way, people go against other people just for the opinions they have, or knowing that maybe they're jealous of their lifestyle, or that whatever else I can think of.
So just to clarify, you have a chronic pain issue.
Yeah. So with the pain, the pain that I go through now has been going on for over 4 years now.
And the doctors have not diagnosed it.
They have not diagnosed. There's been suspicions. There's been guessing games and all of these things, but not one hint really towards what it could possibly be. And the pain I'll get into in a minute, but as I was saying, going back, there's definitely been like some sort of, I've always had some sort of a mistrust with authority, and it may not be a popular take, but I don't trust doctors a lot of the time. They're supposed to be there to help us and to provide for us and to research for us, but I feel like nowadays, at least, that's not the case necessarily. I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm not saying every doctor is bad. Nothing like that. I just think there needs to be a lot more scrutiny held in this whole industry as a whole, just based on the experiences I've gone through. It's definitely been a wild ride, and I've had some spouts of anger and mistrust in people in the past, but now it's like, especially with this, and on top of COVID, vaccines and shit like that, I feel like now it's definitely set me off to a point where I feel like I was kind of deep in my gut correct about these things, these feelings that I've had that I have felt bad about for so long.
Yeah. So what you're saying is like your whole When did the pain first start? Do you know?
The pain started uh, in 2019, in the middle of June. I remember this.
That's when you first started getting chronic pain.
Yes.
2019. Okay.
Yeah. I've had issues in the past, but I will get to that in a bit. But with the pain, so this pain that I have, it's to try to visualize it for everyone. It's what it feels like to me. There's some like stabbing / pulling type pain. It feels muscular, kind of. It almost feels like carpal tunnel, but it's like around my eye. It's like it's on the right side of my face. So it kind of starts like in the temple, and it causes migraines and all this crazy shit. But I've definitely got it under control for the most part. I think a lot of it is mindset and attitude, and not allowing the pain to affect me negatively. I think the only thing I can do right now is to let it affect me positively the best I can, without
Did
being
you
an actual
ever
pain.
have like COVID during that time?
So with COVID, I never had COVID during COVID, but I'm going to guess that I probably did have it before the whole pandemic spread. I definitely got sick around that November beforehand,
'Cause
and
For someone like me, like I'm not a doctor, and I don't know anything about like science or whatever. I know about like conspiracies.
that's all we know nowadays, huh?
That's better.
Yeah, it's more fun.
I know about jokes and conspiracies, but like for me, just from personal experience, after I got COVID, I started getting a lot of like sinus pressure, like right in the middle of my face, and I never had that before. I never used to get allergies during the springtime with the pollen and stuff. And then recently, I don't know if it's because I'm 30 or because I had COVID, but like I went on a plane at like 2020, and I got a really bad pain in my sinuses from the pressure, and I never had that before.
That's definitely age. COVID. Yeah, I mean, yeah. When you have a virus that's
You don't think it could be COVID related, do you? Like,
I think there's always that very, very slight chance of that, because if you think about this unknown virus, no matter what you believe, where it came from or whatever, I mean, you have this virus that no one's ever had before, and I could see it affecting people in some weird ways because I've been affected in weird ways by things like even a fall can like fuck me up for a long time, and that's not normal for people. And I do think a lot of that just comes from lack of exercise and not taking care of my body.
sure.
You were there when I fell off that skateboard a couple summers ago.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't summer. It was around. It was Easter, actually.
Yeah, that's why I
It
don't
was the day of
skateboard,
Jesus.
though. I always hurt myself.
Yeah, that's why I don't either. But I mean, that's what happens when you try to like rush back into it day one. I made a pretty simple fall, and that alone, like,
And when you're a kid, man, you got like a lower, center of gravity.
yeah, and nothing breaks.
Yeah,
because you're
you're
invincible.
bouncier. Once you're older, you got all this stuff, all these bones that are starting to go bad, and joints that are starting to go bad and whatnot.
Yeah, that's definitely something I had to. Everyone needs to learn over
Human
time.
beings used to only live till like 50 years old. If you were like 50 years old, you were an old man like 200 years ago.
That's the scary part. Like, I mean, even being 30 like 200 years ago was probably old.
Yeah. Yeah, you were like
Maybe
middle-aged at 30, you know.
I feel middle aged now.
I still feel like a kid, man. I play video games all the time and mess around.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am too. There's always going to be that kid inside of me that I can relate with everyone. I do think I've definitely fell into that a little too hard, as you can tell by my fucking collection.
Yeah.
I definitely went hard on it. I kind of lived out that nostalgia. Like, I think I took so much of it at one time over the past couple of years, especially with the pandemic, making things more interesting to get, I guess. I think I kind of fell into that FOMO a little bit, and nowadays I think I just wiped myself of it, and I kind of realized that this stuff isn't doing much for me in my life personally. I think I have too much like serious things to worry about to be distracted by all this stuff anymore. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I still love video games at times. It's super addicting and fun, all of that. But I feel like for me, I've spent most of my life on that, and now that I'm in the spot that I'm in, I've developed these things that I feel like are irreversible at this point. It's kind of scared me out of these bad habits that I've had. Video games is definitely one of them. You know, sitting on the computer constantly, and it gave me issues growing up. I would get carpal tunnel and shit all the time, and I think there's a lot that people don't account for.
I think it's about balance, though, right?
It always is.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't relate to the collection because I'm not good at taking care of my stuff. I have to keep my stuff to like an economic, reasonable medium because if I have something nice that's going to be valuable in like 10 years, I'm going to lose it or break it or something like that. But like with video games, like I still go out all the time. I think that's really like what people kind of need in their lives, and they kind of like pushed us in a direction during COVID of like, no, you don't need to go out. You can do everything from your house. You can get on the Oculus VR and pretend to go out, and that's just as good. And I don't think that's true. Like, I think you got to get out of the house and go experience the world.
Oh, absolutely. And I think traveling is a big one too that I haven't thought about until recently because I've been looking at campers. Walking into one alone, I had no intentions on like actually buying it. We just kind of went for fun and looked at them, and I was like, holy shit, man. I imagined all this potential in life alone, just being able to travel, go around the country and stuff like that in a comforting manner. That I don't know. It gave me this whole new perspective over the past couple weeks now that I never thought I would have in my life because I'm usually anti-travel, anti-this. I'm usually a homebody, you know, because I have my dogs and I found way too much comfort in just being a homebody, and now I'm like my brain is just automatic, like all of a sudden just breaking out of this trance that it was in, like just being too comfortable with things. And I think the pain helped me realize that a lot. It kind of, I'm not perfect still by any means. There's definitely some hard days, but for the most part, the pain just drives me. It motivates me. It makes me want to be stronger and in every way I can possibly be, I guess, because I think that's not really enforced in society as much nowadays. I think we're kind of living in this like free for all con world where people think they can just do whatever they want with no consequences, and that's absolutely far from the truth. I think that taking care of yourself is number one. I mean, it all starts from the bottom up. I mean, it starts with the shoes you wear, and I think we're just manipulated into a lot of things. And
you definitely gotta exercise. You know, you gotta keep your body moving, or these things start falling apart.
Yeah, I feel very irresponsible for, if I would have done that, possibly, just possibly, I wouldn't be in pain right now. I wouldn't have any these weird issues going on with me. It's definitely something that's really pushed me in some sort of a radical way. But by the end of the day, it's I'm just kind of ready to speak out on it and just kind of be myself because I feel like I've lived in this under a rock for so many years where I felt bad for all the things I felt and thought and believed. And I definitely have learned a lot over the past several years, and just seeing how things went with COVID, and like a lot of people's true selves came out with the whole pandemic and the polarization of the politics happening. And I think there's a lot to be said about this stuff, as silly as it seems.
You think the doctors don't take you as serious sometimes?
I don't think they do because I have had a history of anxiety, depression, and all these things. I went through a phase in my life over 10 years ago now where, I believed I had clinical depression and anxiety because of my ass was too lazy to get a real job. So,
did you have depression?
I do get depressed. I can feel depressed. I don't think this like chronic clinical depression thing is real for me. I don't think it's a real thing necessarily. I think it's something they try to enforce on you to give you pills, and it's kind of like an experiment. I think most people are depressed because they're just missing things out of their life. They're missing natural necessities, like, I think I think a lot of it's really small things that are hard to kind of pinpoint, but I mean,
I guess that's that can be true for sure. Situations can change. I've been diagnosed with depression before, and I definitely think it's a real thing, and it's something that can't just be fixed with like good things happening in your life. Like, it's still something that lingers.
I think that's true to a degree. I do think most people who feel depressed in that
But
way
I also
are,
believe maybe you were diagnosed with anxiety and depression when you really didn't have that. Even though
Sure,
I
yeah.
totally believe that depression and anxiety are real things,
real feelings.
I
Absolutely,
do believe
yeah.
it's possible that you could have been diagnosed with those not having them, because what I've noticed is a lot of these therapists, doctors, what they're really doing is selling pills, and they get a cut of that money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's very blatant that they do stuff like that, and I
And whether they think those pills are going to help or not, I don't know. But I have seen some pretty bad doctors where it's like you go in, you say, "Hey, I'm not feeling great. I'm anxious about all the things, all my responsibilities and stuff." And they go, "Oh, you need 3 years worth of Xanax. Here's a prescription for it."
that's the problem for me. It's just the over glor. How do I know what the
You
word
have
is for
something
it?
on that, Trent?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
No, I was just gonna say, let's get down to the real question. What's the best pill?
Definitely
Oxys.
like anti-anxiety medication, because it makes you check out completely.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Adderall.
Adderall, yeah.
Yeah, if you abuse anxiety medication, you're gone, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Your whole existence is gone. You black out and stuff.
Yeah.
But Adderall, that's the other side of the spectrum. But
There's a reason there's a shortage, buddy.
yeah. It's chaos, man. It's like, I can't find motivation. I can't focus on things. It's like you might just need a different job, dude. You don't need 3 years worth of Adderall.
You could sell 3 years worth of Adderall
Yeah, for sure.
to a guy like me who has a job and needs Adderall.
But also, that stuff's not good for you, man. Like you're borrowing time when you're using stuff like that.
absolutely. My whole message on it isn't to say that people feeling depressed or anxious is completely invalid, because it's definitely a real feeling. My thing is that they overprescribe it, they overdiagnose it. They just, I mean, it's just a experiment to see how many pills they can hand out, to be honest with you. I mean, I went to an urgent care appointment because my eye got all puffy from an eye exam that I had, and the one and only question they asked, word by word, was, in the past 30 days, have you felt like killing yourself? And I just started cracking up out loud, just like, this is really the only question you have for me every time I come in here, because don't you not see what's going on with my eye right now?
Because
Like,
of the history.
probably it could be the history, and I think that's where it comes down to this whole flagging theory that I have. That they definitely like have a flag or mark on people who so happen to go into doctor's appointments a lot. And you know what? I'll give them some credit there, rightfully so, to some degree, because there's people out there seeking the pills and seeking these, they're going for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
But
I definitely think that's a problem. Like they're not separating the addicts from the people who legitimately have a problem. And they're treating everybody like an addict so that they don't accidentally give an addict a bunch of
yeah,
painkillers.
I think it's a very dangerous route to go. I think the whole system's manipulated. It's completely fucked.
I don't think those painkillers really help. I don't think they do.
Painkillers.
Yeah, like opioid based. Like, I mean, they're awesome.
No,
don't
they
get me wrong.
scientifically help with pain.
I mean,
Do
I've
they?
had surgery, and the Percocets helped with that big time. There weren't good side effects, but
I feel like ibuprofen helps just as much with pain.
Billy,
It just doesn't get you fucked up.
some of these drugs turn your brain's ability to feel pain off.
Well, yeah, it turns your
Entirely.
ability to feel anything off.
I'll say this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that's good. I don't think that.
If you're gonna rip somebody's heart out and put a new one in there, you probably need something like that, don't you?
I don't think that's a good thing. By
I
any
mean, fair
measurement.
enough. You're right.
I'll say this: ibuprofen or aspirin, anything with NSAIDs, perhaps, actually helps with this pain that I go through. It's one of the only things out of everything I've tried, everything down to nerve pain medications.
You ever
and
try like period cramp medication?
muscle relax? What?
Yeah, like period cramp medication.
I mean, who knows? It could work at this point. But no, I've tried muscle relaxers and everything you can think of, man. Steroids and all these things. Nothing but over-the-counter medicine. So I wonder at times, and people have brought this fact up to me, this could be like a placebo effect. Like this could be some like...
No. Ibuprofen totally
Sugar
works,
pill.
dude. Ibuprofen is like...
It definitely gets rid of
the
fevers.
tits, man.
That I can prove.
Dude, proven to work, man. The liquid gels, dude. 20 minutes later, you're feeling
Instant
You're
digestion.
flying on the but it does make your your gut inflamed.
Oh yes, and that's
You can't take it all the time.
that's been another issue with my problem. It's down in this category to where not only do I go through pain, I go through stomach issues because of all the medicines I've attempted and all the medicines I take now, which is just over the counter stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I probably haven't taken anything over the past week.
Have you ever tried an all meat diet?
I have not yet. I've not tried the Jordan Peterson diet.
Dude,
I would
just
love to.
all meat.
Meat and salt.
Carnivore, yeah.
Meat and salt. I didn't do it right.
You gotta start crying right now.
Yeah. Man, that's what we need for a short. I just need to you need to get me emotional.
You want
about
some
my
water,
story.
man? You need some to drink?
If
I
it'll
could use some water.
if it'll make that diet easier on you, I'm pretty sure that there's like a less hardcore version that allows Xanax.
Here you go, man. The finest water.
Oh. Fuck you. I refuse. I'll just crack another beer.
Wow. No, we have actual waters too.
I have to go with the bit. I'm sorry. I can't be seen with that atrocity. Okay. I'm good on the beer. Thank you.
That's not a beer.
This?
Oh, that's a beer.
That's a beer. It's not Bud, but it's beer.
There's room temperature water right there. Well, they were outside, the water bottles right there.
Oh, okay,
but
cool.
I was just
Sure.
I was messing with you with the liquid death.
I went with the bit. Are you proud?
Let's get into it,
Gotta
man.
get them Coors Lights.
Is liquid death a scam?
I think people will buy anything now that looks cool.
It's a marketing scheme, right?
Is it a marketing scheme technically? Is it?
But-
I have said that it was. Is it really though? I think it's. I just don't understand if you're a non-alcoholic and you're trying to stay away from that lifestyle. Why would you want to incorporate yourself with that style still? Why would you want to pretend that you're drinking alcohol? It's like pretending to do drugs. I don't know.
Someone like me, I go to comedy shows all the time. You can not drink alcohol and still be fun and still go out and hang out with your friends.
Well, of course. I mean,
Says Billy.
I've proven that alcohol does nothing wrong because, hear me out. I've probably drinking alcohol almost every night over the past 3 years now, at least. And I will say, 1, I've never gotten COVID. 2, it probably detoxed me from the devaxxed me from the vaccine.
Devaxxed. Okay.
Devaxxed. And 3, I probably lost some weight because you eat less food.
No, there's no way.
Yeah, it nourishes all of the things that a real man needs. You know what I'm saying? You don't.
Yeah, you can actually replace meals with 2 beers.
I can't stand
For
it.
sure.
I have proven that. That is
Yeah,
true.
like if you're like, I shouldn't eat this late for dinner, you can just drink 2 beers and that's a good dinner. You can do it for lunch. You can do it for breakfast if you feel like it.
Alcohol.
Nice mimosa.
Alcohol leads to liver disease later in life.
It does.
If
It
you
does.
got a weak ass liver.
That's what everyone who gets liver disease says when they're in their 30s.
Oh, I know. I'm prepping for it.
I know multiple people who have gotten liver disease from drinking.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know plenty of people who are or were alcoholics, and it's definitely not. It's a very sad story to go through. You don't want to be involved with that in many ways. It definitely fucks with your health, and I've seen it firsthand. It's definitely something to not joke about at times. I feel like it's a serious thing, but I'm still young.
Well,
I have a
if you
reason to
don't-
drink.
If you don't have a
so-
problem with it, you're not drinking in excess, then you're fine, But some people, once they pop, they just can't stop.
Goes back to the moderation thing. And
It's really like an inhibition thing, though, because I'm a moderate person in a lot of things in my life. I know when to stop when it comes to certain things, but that's only because my inhibition is still intact. But after about 3 beers, that line just gets cut, and I just can't. I have to go to the max.
right.
Once once the brakes are cut, I'm just full speed ahead.
Yeah, I definitely believe that it activates something in people's brains sometimes that's uncontrollable, right? On the other hand of things, this might be a hot take, but I mean, I've been to AA meetings, not for myself, but for other people, and I've always had this gut feeling that what they're doing here is not the correct way to fix this problem. I really don't think this whole let's give up all my willpower, give up all this. Let's brainwash myself to think that I have no free will or
It doesn't seem to work that much. It
that
works.
we're weak.
It works sometimes.
It's another method to make us weak. I mean, it's just another.
I think it's something
angle.
that worked for one guy, and then he wanted to share that with other people. At least he did something, right? Like at least he tried.
Right.
What was his name? Bill something.
I have no idea.
I think it
might have to
worked.
Google
I think
that.
it worked for
One
that
of
guy.
those real old alcoholic names.
Yeah. Well, you say I'm a friend of Bill. If somebody asks like why you're not drinking, you say I'm a friend of Bill, and that means you're an alcoholic and you abstain. I don't know what his last name was, but I think it works if that's the way that your personality works, and it has worked for a lot of people. The 12 steps and whatever.
Kind of like religion.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, but it's one of those things. Like everybody has to come to that conclusion on their own. Like if you're a religious person, then either you're brainwashed or you came to a conclusion on your own of this is what I'm going to believe and this is why. So yeah, it is like a religion, and it is religion based.
As an atheist person, I guess you can call it that. I don't know what I really am, but I've never believed in a god or anything like that. I think we're just in a very natural biological world that is full of nonsense. But I am trying my very hardest to appreciate and respect religions now, or at least people's faith nowadays.
Well,
because
dude, it's got to be hard.
I do see a good side of it now that I'm like kind of more open minded to these things a little bit. I'm definitely not going to convert in any way. I just don't believe in that stuff deep down. You could call it brainwashing to some degree. Maybe I got brainwashed by the libs. I don't know, but
Well, I can see how it would be hard to be religious if you're gay when literally every religion is like God hates gay
they want to
people.
throw stones at us from every angle.
Well, how come there's no God that's like, yeah, the gays are cool?
I mean, maybe I can make the first God. Maybe I can be God to tell all the gays that they're cool, that they don't need to be weak to live a fulfilling life. Need to be strong.
I don't think that really the book of Christianity teaches that gay people are bad, but some people think that.
People can take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
I personally don't know. I have not done enough research to have a real take on religion or their views on gay people. I will say that, with like the Westboro Baptist Church, my philosophy has always kind of been just ignore it. I think those type of people just want the attention, and
How do you get to that point, man? How do you get to where you're out on the street with a sign? Even if you do think that gay people are like committing a sin.
I mean, it's just a conditioning. They probably grew up around it and they find it normal.
That's brainwashing right there.
It's definitely brainwashing. Yeah. Yeah, everything's technically brainwashing to some degree, and I think people need to find the best ways to brainwash.
Remember those
at this
guys
point.
with the cults that used to like kill themselves? What was that, like Heaven's Gate? And there was another one.
The Family Guy episode.
Heaven's Gate was one of them, yes.
Yeah, like the Family Guy. But who's the guy with the Nike shoes?
I think that was
John Jones.
Oh, Jim Jones was a little bit more violent.
He killed more people though, right?
Yeah,
like they all killed themselves.
Heaven's Gate was a lot of old people.
Heaven's Gate was more of like a spirituality.
Yeah, it was like
thing.
a bunch of old people met up and decided at the same time.
Yeah.
Jim Jones was more of like a compound that he had isolated far from their home and then held them at gunpoint and forced them to suicide. It was more of that kind of a situation. But yeah, he did
Now
kill.
that's radical.
He did kill several hundred more.
You think that guy was onto something?
Onto something.
You
In
think,
what way?
like, you think,
Like in the Adderall way.
you think he had a point? Maybe
Yes, it was Adderall.
It's not for me to say.
maybe if we commit suicide while Haley's comet is passing over, we'll like ascend into gods or something like that.
That's very well. Is that what happened?
That's what they thought.
Yeah, something
That's
like
pretty
that. One of them.
They thought they were going to get, picked up as they ascended onto a comet. And I don't know.
Have you ever been
ride
like
a comet for a while?
You ever think maybe you were like abducted by aliens in 2019?
Maybe in 2012.
Or do you think like there's a group of people like gang stalking you and like feeding radio waves?
Targeted individual.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's like people watching you and hacking your computer.
No.
No.
Yeah, I mean, no, honestly, yeah. I mean, we definitely did not have as much privacy as we used to. I wouldn't doubt if I was being spied on all the time, but I have nothing to hide, so I don't care personally. But I do believe that people should self-respect themselves to the point where they should want privacy in their lives. I don't see how people can justify.
Do you think there could be an organization out there that gang stalks people and puts radio waves in their brain to make them feel like their brains are melting?
Sometimes it's
Chat GPT.
I mean, sometimes it feels that way. I deep down, honestly, I don't know, but I will be honest, it does feel that way sometimes.
Do you ever think like it could be related to like the hair restoration surgery?
That's a good possibility, but I don't believe so. That's been worked on. That's been looked at in many ways, and there's been no direct proof or correlation towards it. So I don't think so. Is it a possibility? I mean, anything can be at this point. I think the more important thing for me is just to kind of focus on the future, because I've kind of had to realize sooner than later that this is something I'm going to have to live with. If it magically goes away someday, cool. But it's not going anywhere. It's to stay. I can't reverse anything I've done. All I can do is just be way more self-aware of that stuff, I guess. It's definitely been a really tough ride, but I think it's honestly one of the only ways I was going to toughen up, because I don't think I was tough before. I don't think I was. I don't think I was doing the right things in life. I was on the wrong path, and I was just kind of, living kind of in a degenerate way. But I've always been a good person. I never done anything wrong. I never stole for people or hurt anybody, or I don't believe any of that stuff. It's I think me sitting around playing all the video games all the time and just being distracted by nothing but nonsense and things that are comforting was the wrong way for me to go. And I think there's more to me than what they tell me. And I would hope that a lot of people could resonate off that type of message, whether it's coming from me or somebody else. I mean,
you don't think you could play video games sometimes just for leisure?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I do still at times. It's just my thing of video games is kind of a different topic, but I just don't think video games are like that fun anymore. I think it's all been unoriginal for the past 10 years. Honestly, Fortnite is the best game that's come out in the past decade. When it comes to like its uniqueness and game style, like it's something that hasn't been done yet. You haven't been able to play a game with 100 people at once in that fashion. So honestly, it's like games like Fortnite. I mean,
I think PUBG came out first.
Did it?
But it was more of like a military type of game, whereas Fortnite,
it was universal.
I do think, it was more commercially appealing because you could play as like Spider-Man and
right
Darth Vader, and
that's all fun in games because
whatever, Naruto.
I like stupid games too, like those putt games, and just things that are kind of goofy and things I can troll on. It's hard for me to take a video game seriously anymore. I don't care about the storyline. I'm not into this dork shit. Like I just liked the interaction that I would have with my friends or other people during those things. Couch gaming is superior and always will be. It won't compare to the online experience, although
we were just trying to find or talking about how it's tough to find a game that's split screen on PC these days.
Yeah, I was looking at
kind of
the entire list on Steam, and there's not a lot. Like, you got Madden.
But if you get the Nintendo, you can still play with friends.
Yep, that's why I keep it all.
The Switch.
Oh, even on the Switch. Yeah, you're right. But
yeah.
I think ultimately it's just one of those things. It's definitely transformed into something that's also, I believe, has been manipulated by the media to some degree. But, if you compare it to like TV shows or anything else, I think video games are still the least manipulated in ways. I think it is manipulated in ways to where they want to make as much money as they possibly can out of people. Like they're raising all the prices up. They're all of the in-game transactions. I think that's all bullshit. I think there's no real incentive to a video game anymore, compared to the old stuff to where you have to like kind of work for everything. Now you can just buy it or everything's just about skins. Everything's, I don't know why people are so obsessed with skins.
Competition.
Like, who cares?
I guess is the appeal, like sports. But part of the reason I didn't really like sports was because I knew I was never going to be as good at them as like the best people out there. So video games kind of appealed to me. It was like, okay, you don't have to be good at this to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I put a lot of pressure on myself to be good at games growing up, but I definitely gave up on that pretty quickly. I mean, I when I was doing Twitch streams a couple years ago, when the Animal Crossing thing kind of died off, I would just try to play other things, and I
Yeah.
thought I was tough shit on Smash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you get online, I
some
got publicly
crazy-
humiliated.
There's some insane Smash players out there.
Yeah,
For no reason.
Respect to those people, but for me, I don't want to play with you. I'm
Yeah.
good. I enjoyed it more when I was just playing with family and friends, and it brought people together. That's what I like
Yeah.
about anything that I like, is that it brings people together. It brings some sort of a meaning to a get together or whatnot.
Yeah, Smash was always fun because, like, really, it was anybody's game. Like, you hop on, and anybody.
That's
can
what I thought.
win. Maybe one guy's a little bit better than everybody else, but if y'all gang up on him, then you win. Now it's like there's dudes out there who could take on your whole family by themselves and not get damaged once. It's like, yeah, it's not fun.
No, that's fine. If they want to spend their lives doing that, that's fine. I'm at the gym getting muscle and working on my teardrop thighs. So, who really wins here?
Teardrop thighs. What does that mean?
I think it's just like
It's
the
where
little
your
triangle shape,
Where
like
your
above your knee.
kneecap is the bottom, and yeah, okay. But that's not really the muscle. That's where the muscle is not.
Whatever it is, looks cool. I hope I can achieve that.
Okay, so you're saying that there's not a lot of masculinity in the gay community anymore?
I don't think there is. I definitely think the media has portrayed, I'm going to only talk about gay people in particular because I'm gay. I don't have anything to do with anything else. I'm going to try not to speak of other groups or whatnot, but
Speak on them all.
you want me to?
Yeah.
I mean, I have opinions, but I mean, honestly, I'm going to be fair about it just because I don't have the experience that other people do at times. So I can only speak from my perspective, but yeah, with the gay community and stuff, like I think it's been going on for a long time. I don't think it's necessarily a new thing. I think gay people. My theory is that gay people have been so marginalized and so oppressed or whatnot that it's maybe it develops some anger amongst the community or whatnot, and maybe going against the traditional male is the way to kind of be like, see, fuck you, I'm
As a
not
gay
necessarily
man.
saying it's all a bad thing. I just don't. I have an issue with is the media trying to push this stuff on purpose. I don't have any issues with people being feminine or anything else because honestly, I'm not fully masculine either.
I know
I'm just talking shit.
some gay men that are extremely feminine,
And,
and that's like who they are.
completely fine. I just think that nowadays they're really pushing. I think the media or whoever is higher up, they're trying to do whatever they can to suppress and make men feel weaker. Because, not to sound like Andrew Tate, but what if we get into a war and we don't have enough strong men to take care of that? And I'm not saying that I would do it. I would push the fuck out. Don't get me wrong.
That's but that's almost like a universally known like psyop that the communist forces are trying to feminize the American man.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Or do you know so?
Well, if I were the enemy to the American man, that's what I would do. Is push like men are evil and you don't need them.
Right. Now, I think that's where I think my theory was kind of implying that
Like I would say Russia probably does that, and China probably does that.
yeah, and I think I'm a good example or here to show that gay people can be completely normal, civilized human beings without any media influence.
I almost feel like the gay men have kind of gotten like a little pass recently because the rest of them are so crazy right now.
How are they crazy? What's going on? Because
Well, they just like with the gender thing of like the gender fluid and the non-binary and stuff. It's like if you're just a regular old gay guy, it's like, whoa. At least I know this guy, At least I know what's going on with this guy. He likes dudes. That's simple. I can understand that. But someone who's saying one day I'm a man, one day I'm a woman, that could be confusing to some people.
I think that's a part of this. Like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm not trying to sound stereotypical, but that's kind of like of the liberal agenda is like people can just do whatever they want. They can act on their feelings and not hold any self accountability for anything they've said or done in the past day. Like for me, I'm willing to admit any mistake that I've ever made, anything I've said that was wrong, whatever. I can't promise you that I'll apologize, but I will admit to any fault that I have. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that now. I think that's just a part of the equation. But they definitely want to, weaken us. And gay men are the most vulnerable because we've been marginalized for so long. I think a lot of them do get the women treatment. I think as much as many of them want to act like men, they feel like they can't, or else it's going to offend people. It's gonna disrupt the whole system that's in place. I do think there is some like double standards with stuff involving gay people in particular that a lot of people don't realize. I do believe we are in a pretty homophobic environment still, as much as I sound homophobic right now. But I do believe that. I mean, there's many reasons. I'm not sure if the reason matters. I just think people need to stand up and say, this is what we should be doing instead of that, maybe.
But don't you think it's kind of become a bit of like a trend as well to be like, I'm queer or I'm gay amongst young people?
I do think it's trendy, and that is because of the media. I think the media is pushing all this stuff on children. I mean, you can see it in all the cartoons. Like they're putting all of it in the. I don't even care if it was just gay or lesbian stuff. It wouldn't matter to me. I would never walk up to a child and start educating them on my sexuality. I would be deemed a pedophile immediately, as I should be, right? But what makes it okay for doctors or TV shows or teachers to do that? I don't agree with that at all. I think the children need to stay out of anything that involves adulthood. They need to live like children instead of being like sucked into like this toxic ball of nonsense that everyone's trying to.
But also, kids are gonna be the worst when it comes to like bullying, right? Like
bullying still, it's probably worse than ever.
Like, kids, they'll be like, if you do something, they'll say, well, you're gay or something like that.
I grew up around that, and you know what? I was completely fine with that. I still say that stuff. I don't care. I call things gay all the time. No one's gonna like that. I don't care. It rules. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I've inherited so much confidence in myself as a gay man that I can get a pass with almost anything.
Or the other word you're not allowed to say, that we all grew up being called the F word.
You want me to say it, don't you?
Well, I'm not allowed to say it.
It's the only time we're gonna get it on the show.
Which I understand, I get it. No
pressure.
There are people who are persecuted for their sexuality, and so it's
a real thing. Absolutely. I mean, gays get bullied all the time. All of the above. Everyone in the LGBTQ whatnot community is being harassed. I don't believe in harassment. No matter what you believe about trans people or anything else. Nobody should be harassing them.
Disrespect, if you ask me to call you a name or to call you by a pronoun or something like that, I will respect that 100%.
I probably
even if I don't
too.
agree with what you're saying, I'll at least be polite. I'll be respectful of any individual.
Yeah, naturally I would too, for sure. But it doesn't necessarily change my opinions on these things. I don't necessarily think I have terrible opinions. Most of it just involves the children. Like, I'm fine with anyone doing whatever they want past a certain age once they're an adult. I mean, you do realize, being a gay man, of course, I mean, I knew I was gay, like, prior to being an adult. I mean,
right.
These are all things that, come across our teen years for the most part, and I would imagine the trans stuff would too. And I do think there needs to be some more. I think all of it needs to be handled better. I think it's very polarizing, and it's like I just can't believe they're allowing doctors to like perform surgeries on children and all these things, especially like with me knowing like how manipulative they can be as it is. Like I just can't believe people would trust them enough to do that to their own child. I don't know if this is a thing that's happening all the time or if this is just internet buzz or whatever, but I mean, this seems to be a real argument that's happening right now. And I mean, my opinion's already been set on it, and I don't feel bad about it. I don't think it's transphobic or anything. I think it's just a real normal thought for most people to have who are, I don't know. I don't even like children. Like, they're fucking annoying. Like, if you ever enjoy being around a child in any way,
Yeah.
when?
Corey's little baby.
Okay, well, that's a little different. Just like like, I don't know, like, I would never, I just don't have any interest in telling anybody who's a child about my personal life or anything like that.
But yeah, if I was talking to a child, there at no point would gender or sexuality come into the conversation.
If I came into a school
And if I heard someone talking to my kid about gender and sexuality, I would be like, "Stop talking to my child." Like,
I would be upset too. That's something for me to teach my child. That's not for any teacher or media, or that's the problem with it. The media is raising our children in many ways. It's not just this. It's in many ways, and I think it's all for like in bad ways for the most part. I mean,
I think especially in the South too, there's a lot of anger toward the parents, and that kind of pushes the kids into being indoctrinated into a certain ideology, where it's like their parents are like Fox News boomers, right?
Right.
And everything they say is just a regurgitation of something
Yeah, that's
they saw on Fox News. And it's like, you go to school every day, all your friends are telling you that, you know, the orange man's bad and Tucker Carlson's an idiot. Then you go home, your parents are just saying all of the things that your friends think is
right. That is the issue with me speaking my mind on things, because people are automatically going to assume, oh, Jake's been watching Fox News, or he's been
Right,
watching this.
yeah.
He's watching too much Andrew Tate. Like, no, it's none of that. I like Andrew Tate. I don't care what people say. I think he's the funniest fucking person ever. I mean, yeah, he might be a scumbag. Yeah, he could be a human trafficker or whatever, but god damn, he's come up with the funniest fucking content I've seen in years. And as a gay man, I support him.
Well, they
I don't
say
care how much
like
slack I get.
I don't know. The Andrew Tate thing is weird to me because they say, like, oh, the media is silencing him, but they're out to get him, blah, blah, blah. But I made a new YouTube account the other day or not the other day, but recently for like podcast related stuff. I made a whole new Google account and everything. And the first thing that comes up is like a bunch of Andrew Tate videos. I'm like, who's putting this in the top of the feed for a brand new account? And what makes them think that I want to watch this? Because I don't watch this. I've maybe watched a few as like a joke once or twice, but I don't consume content like that on a regular basis.
No, it's definitely a super troll move. I feel like that's been his method. Like, he like pays people or like his fans to like spread all this. I think it's smart as shit.
And I realized they're all those shorts are like AI generated too. They take a video,
Yeah.
they AI generate a clip with subtitles, they throw a GTA gameplay video underneath it, and that's it. That's
and the
whole
bumping ass music behind it.
Yeah, and they got the music.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's fucking
Well,
song
I
every
think the
time.
music helps push it up in that algorithm too. That's another thing. I gotta get on the music game with these clips.
Yeah, dude. I find a fascination with this whole culture of this shock humor and these controversial figures. And I as stupid as it seems, I do think there is some message behind it. I do think the media or the elites are after him 100%. I mean, they fucking arrested them for no reason for 3 months.
That's the shadow government.
There's not one proof of anything. It's nothing but nonsense.
That's shadow government right there. They're after Tate, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Because
know
of
if they're
his
trying to kill him, but
influence in America, they're after him in like different countries.
oh, definitely. I mean, it's proving all my points. They just don't like the stuff that he says, and I think that has some correlation with the things I say to a degree. Just because I mean, yeah, like it being exposed to that a little bit maybe helps me wake up to a little bit of thought processes of, you know, like, well, maybe I do need to go to the gym. Maybe I need to do this, but I never took his actual thing seriously. I think he's funny as shit, and I think that's something to pay attention to with the fact that they're, you know, they arrested them and all this stuff. I think that's something to pay attention to. I think there's a slippery slope to come with that.
There's something fishy going on. Like, general people don't know the full story.
No, none of us do. I mean, that's the even scarier part. Is like none of us do. So it's, I mean, all we can do is believe what we're told or what we see. I mean, it's all technically anything or any thought process nowadays is brainwashing.
It could be like aliens that run the whole place. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, I don't leave anything out of the question now, especially after everything I've gone through with this pain and stuff. You know, overall,
They might be reptilian. It's possible.
I think so too. Or they could be like llamas.
Like what?
Llamas.
Llamas?
Yeah.
I think the cops are coming for us.
Like
Yeah, I
skinwalkers?
think we exposed
Yeah.
too much of the truth.
They found out that we were advocating for Andrew Tate.
I know nobody else is, so I had to.
That's the shadow government on their way right here.
That's what happens when you record for an hour.
If
Too much. Oh, are we at an hour?
We just hit an
oh,
hour.
man.
Damn, it felt like nothing, man.
Yeah, we'll just do round 2 in about 30 minutes. Crack another beer.
Yeah, we'll get
The after hours. Let's get like a ton of people here in a circle.
That's a horrible idea.
get like a full dude. I tried to get Mark Norman on here. He was dropping in comedy clubs in Atlanta.
Dude, get him on, bro.
I think he was on a layover flight or something. And
Oh man, the Matrix is after you, Billy.
yeah,
They're trying to stop you from being famous.
if Mark Norman was gonna drop in on the podcast, I would kick you out.
I would walk myself out on a red silk rug. No, I would just stay because I mean, look at the rings. You can't kick someone out with the rings.
Is there
just
any?
saying.
Is there anything else? Any more truth you want to speak?
Oh, there's many, but I think we can hold that for another.
All right, we'll
Ep-
go again. We need to have Jake on like once a month to speak the truth.
Yeah, and speak nothing but truth and expose the media. You know.
Is there somewhere you want people to follow you?
I think I'm just gonna resort to Twitter for now. I think it's just at Jake Walski. Yeah, social media is dumb. I just like to troll people on there sometimes and say funny things. It's just about it. I don't know. Hopefully, I have some more endeavors in the future. It'll probably be music related or maybe it's video content related. I don't know yet. I'm kind of working my way in. I feel like I don't really have to do much. I could just go on any podcast in town here, talk shit, and get enough clicks. I don't think I need to do anything, but I will if I have to.
There's only 2 podcasts in town here. And
All right,
that's
what's the other one?
this one? And
Let me
then,
at 'em.
Trent's podcast.
Let me at it.
As seen on this sticker on the desk.
There it is. Yeah.
You're not allowed to talk as long as you have on my podcast.
Silencing the truth.
No, it's just that my podcast is not serious ever.
Yeah.
And that's the point.
That's good. I wouldn't mind that. I do need some fun in my life sometimes. I think I've been too serious lately, so.
And it's mostly for comics, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you need
I'm funny.
You need a special qualifier.
Trent will
You're not a
make an
comic.
exception.
I might.
if you come on this
I
show
might
more.
consider it.
All I have to do is walk on the stage and say my takes.
I've been
and
trying to
be
get
enough.
you to do that for the past like 4 years.
Well, now I'm a new person. I'm ready.
All you gotta do is come to McCracken's on Mondays. That's all you need.
I'll be there,
All right.
and I'll have the rings on, and I'll have my hair combed.
Thanks for
I'll look
watching, everybody. We'll see you at McCracken's on Monday. Peace.